Matthew.
Sure, thanks a lot. The Turkish foreign minister has come out and said that his country has, they believe, proof that the Assad government does it. It looks like the U.S. is going to make a similar announcement later today. So I wanted to know, does the Secretary General, does he think it's, does he have any comment on member states coming out with their own evidence, as they call it, prior to the UN report coming out? And also just factually, there were some reports that some of the inspection team already left the country and is in Lebanon. Can you say if that's true or not? Have you seen those reports? Are they false?
The people who left today were interpreters and translators. The experts, the technical experts from the World Health Organization and the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons remain in Damascus and will be leaving tomorrow. With regard to the first part of your question, the Secretary General has said all along, and the Secretary General's mechanism provides for the possibility for member states to put forward evidence that they may have, information that they may have, and we would continue to encourage member states to do precisely that.
But so, for example, has Turkey says they have an intelligence report that proves that Assad did it. Have they provided any information to the team, to your knowledge?
As I say, the Secretary General has consistently encouraged member states to provide any information they may have. Yes?
Sure. Thanks, Martin. I wanted to, first, I know that you said that if the Security Council as a whole wanted to meet, the Secretary General would. I'm just wondering if you can, was this meeting with the P5 at their request or his? And what would you say? Okay. What would you say to those who say that the elected 10 are being kind of left out of the process? They weren't shown the UK draft. Is that? I mean, I understand they're the ones with the veto, but does the Secretary General? What would you say of those who say it's a distinction that just builds the power more than the
I would say
does?
the following, Matthew, that the Security Council presidency was informed and fully understands the way that this is working, that the Secretary General has been briefing the Permanent Five and is available and indeed would like to brief the Security Council as a whole. But of course it is the prerogative of the Security Council to invite the Secretary General to brief them. And beyond that, I mean, the whole reason that the Secretary General broke off his visit to Austria was to be able to return to engage with member states and not just with 5 of them.
And okay, great, thanks. I wanted to also, while you were away, this phrase was said from this platform. And you may be behind the phrase, so I wanted to get and understand this idea of an evidence-based narrative. Like, I just wanted, can you say? Many people say it's not going to say obviously who did it, and you're saying that it's a scientific thing. It's a lab test, which might imply a one-page report, just yes or no. But what is an evidence-based narrative? How does it relate to? Is it a chronological accounting of how the missiles got there? What can you say about the phrase?
Well, first of all, I have also mentioned not simply lab test results, which are, of course, hugely important, but also the interviews that have been conducted with witnesses, survivors, so that forms an awfully important part of the story as well, what people experienced and what people saw. So then you build a picture, and I think that's simply what that expression means. And just to reiterate, it is not about determining responsibility. It's about determining whether chemical weapons were used. A Congo question, and that's it.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. The press statement that was put out yesterday and read today by the Security Council says that they were calling that intentionally directed attacks at personnel engaged in peacekeeping, are crimes as long as, quote, as long as they are entitled to protection given to civilians or civilian objects under international law of armed conflict. And it's a new construction for them. But I wanted to know what's the Secretariat's understanding of whether any part of MONUSCO, including the Intervention Brigade, is in fact a party to an armed conflict, and how this relates. I'm asking you because that's the press statement. Is it a party, and are they combatants?
I've seen that language too, Matthew. I don't have anything for you on that. If I do get something, I will certainly let you know. All right.